There is a brand new local basketball academy that is based here in the Portland metro area, the Dyad Basketball Academy. And today we are going to be talking with the owner and coach of the Dyad Basketball Academy, in which it offers some online courses. Basically, it is an affordable way to help as a parent or a coach your kids with their basketball shot and so much more. So with that, let's bring in the owner or founder, I should say, as well as coach, Kevin Berry. Kevin, thank you so much for hanging out here on this coin conversation.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to chat with you more about the Dyad Basketball Academy. So first, let's get into what does it offer for both parents, coaches, and for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, it's think of it as online education for basketball, specifically in the realm of becoming a better shooter. So we offer online courses that empower either parents or youth coaches or the athletes themselves could take the classes by themselves to really like take the 25 years of shooting and coaching experience that I have and bundle it into a 1 hour course where really we can get your fundamentals really solid. We've just seen a lot of kids at the youth and middle school levels in recent years, showing up to practices and open gyms and tryout sessions with just really blatant things missing from the base of their shot. And especially when they're already in sixth or seventh or eighth grade, it's like, man, if we could have gotten this information to them sooner, that would have been better for everybody. It'd be better for the kid, it'd be better for the coaches and the parents. So this is our attempt to kind of disperse the expertise around.
It's so great. Now, this just launched in the fall of 2025, but Kev, you've been coaching for a very long time. So tell us the origin story of the Dyad Basketball Academy.
Yeah, this is season 25 for me for coaching in the Portland area. Everything from NCAA Division III to third grade rec basketball when my daughter was that young. So definitely been around, and I've had a lot of great shooting teams in my time. I've had teams that have set school and personal shooting records. I had a varsity team that hit 19 three-pointers in one game. Our best shooter on that team, Evie, hit 10 on her own. Just every school I've gone to, we found a new way to break some sort of shooting record. And so this is a specialization that I have and, wanted to kind of figure out like, how do I take this and teach it to more than the 10 or 20 or 30 girls that are directly in the program that I'm working for? How do we get more people shooting shots and making more shots? And literally one night in the middle of the night, I know this sounds made up, but I promise you it's not. I woke up at like 1 in the morning and I was like, this is the idea. We build a basketball academy, but it's fully online. That'll keep the costs affordable and we'll start teaching kids how to shoot and we'll make it so that they can do it as third graders, fourth graders, fifth graders, and we'll make it so that mom and dad can take all of this expertise that I have, and we've boiled it down to like these four core components. And we can teach the parents how to teach the kids, or we can teach these youth coaches who are often parents who, bless their heart, have either volunteered or been volunforced into a coaching job and just want to give them the expertise so that we can fix shots sooner. So it's not all on the high school coaches when they get there. We want to solve that problem and create great shooters at the youth levels.
Now, Kevin, you and I have known each other for over a decade. We'll get into our backstory, but I got a chance to learn from you as a basketball coach. And first off, I want to thank you for that because I've really enjoyed being a high school basketball coach. I miss it right now. I'm not coaching, but getting to help out with Diet Basketball Academy has been awesome. You not only have the online programs, but you do have some in person clinics. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so we do kind of a mix of there's the online shot transformation course. That's like our feature course, but we've also started offering in-person clinics. Just this fall, we were out at LaSalle High School and we were out at Dallas High School. So they brought us out for clinics specific to their program. So the coaches, got a hold of us and said, "Hey, we want to run a shooting clinic for the 25 kids in our program. Here are the three things that we really need to work on when it comes to shooting. Can you work those in?" And so we're able to customize those clinics One clinic is very different from the next because what one coach wanted for their program was totally different than what the other coach wanted for their program. So we're able to do in-person clinics, and then we have our first sort of open clinic coming up on Monday, January 5th, for middle school kids. We're hosting that out in Sherwood. Any boy or girl, grades 6, 7, and 8 can sign up. And it's going to be 3 hours of really personalized attention on their shot. We're keeping the clinic small on purpose. And registration is going well for that. So I would anticipate we'll do more of those throughout 2026. And it's just a great way. We keep the camps or the clinics small, so that it's not, you and 49 other people in the gym where the
Mm.
coach can't possibly give you customized feedback. I think there's a time and a place for those type of camps, but when it really comes to like breaking down your shot and getting really good with your shooting mechanics and what you need to work on, everybody in that gym is different. Everybody's shot is different, and what everybody needs to work on is a little different. And so we like to keep these clinics between, 12 and 24 kids to really give that personalized attention. So we're mixing that in now with the online stuff.
Now, Kevin, let's go back to what can people expect with the online shot transformation system.
Yeah, so this was sort of the feature course that launched the company, and it is essentially a 1 hour course that takes everything that I have learned about shooting over the last 25 years. And I've worked with professional shooting coaches. I have been to dozens and dozens of camps and clinics run by people just the best in the country, and have developed this shooting system that I have implemented with everything from fourth graders up to high school varsity players. And we've taken all of that and we've boiled it into these four core components of a shot. And we've boiled all of it into this 1 hour course that is designed for a non-basketball expert. So this course isn't necessarily for the local varsity basketball coach. This course is for mom and dad who just want to help their kid, or who are already helping their kid but maybe don't know what to teach specifically about how to make their shot better. A lot of the things that you and I and other people in our age bracket that grew up in the 80s and 90s or early 2000s were taught as basketball players, they're just outdated now. We know better. We have better shooting mechanics. We have better data. And this course incorporates all of that. So it's sort of shooting for the new era. But you can hand it to, someone like my wife is not a basketball expert by any means, but she can listen to these things. And it's funny because she's seen the course and now she watches people play basketball and she's like, oh, they could probably use a little more dip in their shot, which is one of the core components of the class. And so it's just sort of designed for someone who is well intentioned but doesn't have the expertise. And we're trying to give them the key components so they can help their kids or help their youth players.
Because, Kevin, there are so many tools out there, but this has been a proven system too. And I think parents or coaches that are watching this should know that.
Yeah, it's again, it's not something that we've just sort of like made up and we think that it works. We have been using these teaching methods with shooters over the last 10 to 15 years. When I got my second varsity head coaching job, we put in a run and gun system, and I had players making 6 3-pointers a game individually, and we were getting up 30 or 35 threes a game and shooting a high percentage. And that has only gotten better over the last 10 or 15 years. I mentioned, I already told the story about the team that hit 19. And just last week, I had a JV2 team. So JV2 is like, a mix of freshmen and sophomores, sort of the third team in the program. We just played a game down in Salem and they hit 15 3-pointers in a game for a JV2 team. And that's insane. And so like we know that these teaching methods work, and we want to find a way to empower other coaches and other parents to teach the same style and these same teaching points so that more kids can make more shots. Because ultimately, when you make more shots, the kids are going to have more fun. The parents are going to have a better time watching these games. The coaches are going to be happier because more people are making shots, and it's going to make everybody else better around them. So people making shots is good for everybody.
It really is. And then you usually see more playing time.
That's
Hey,
right.
so now you are doing this custom shot breakdown as well. So what does
Mhm.
that entail?
So this is sort of the super individualized product that we offer, and basically what it is parents can send in video of their kid, and we send them a very specific like, hey, here are the angles we want, here's how many shots we want, and they send us in a 1 minute video of their kid shooting, and I can go through that, and because of my expertise and my certification and all the things that I have learned about shooting, I can give them a customized breakdown on what their shot needs to work on. Because if I have you go shoot 20 shots, regardless of how good of a shooter you are, and I go shoot 20 shots, we're gonna have different things we need to work on. And the the girl down the street and the boy up the block, like they might both be great shooters, but they have different things they need to work on. And so you don't want this like one size fits all prescription plan, which a lot of shooting products out there are like, hey, do this no matter what. That doesn't necessarily fit for the style or the body mechanics or the age or skill level of your individual athlete. And so our shot transformation program, which we talked about, we feel is broad enough that you have to master those core fundamentals first. And then the shot breakdown, the custom shot breakdown sort of is that second layer on top of it, where it's like, okay, we feel really good about these core elements. Now, what is your little tweaks and things that we need to fix? Some people have a heel lift, or some people might have hands too narrow, or some people swipe their arm across their face. And there's dozens and dozens of things that I look for in these, and then we can figure out like, okay, you do these three things and here's how we're going to fix them, and this person does these three things and here's how we're going to fix them. So it truly is like customized feedback on their shot.
What has been the feedback from parents and coaches so far who have either been at the clinic or now taking some online programs?
Yeah, we've gotten really positive feedback about the system in general. Again, whether you're talking about the clinics, the online program, or the custom shot breakdowns, right? It all comes from the same expertise. It all comes from the same learnings and shooting systems. And I think we always ask the athletes after camps and clinics, or after they get their breakdowns or whatever, like, hey, what did you like about this, or what resonated with you? And one of the ones that has really jumped out to me was we had a high school varsity basketball player that said, I was really glad they didn't try and like completely change my shot. They looked at my shot and broke it down and told me where the tweaks were so that I could
Mm.
immediately get better at it. And so I think a lot of times coaches try and change too many things in a shot, and they try and force a shot to look quote unquote perfect. And the
Hmm.
reality is most shots don't look perfect. And so you need to find those little adjustments. So we've gotten really good feedback from the kids that have gone through this system about how individualized it is. And we also spend a lot of time teaching them how to analyze their own shot. And that's come up a lot in the feedback because, whether you purchase this course or get a custom shot feedback or come to a clinic, like, right, it's a couple hours and then I'm gone. Or it's,
Hmm.
one feedback and then it's on you to take that feedback and run with it. But we're teaching you how to analyze your own shot because now you know what to look for. And I've seen that in my own athletes that I coach, because I coach in a high school program as well. And they'll start to, in games and in practices, maybe they have a low follow through, and they'll take a shot and they'll look at me and go, ah, I felt the low follow through on that one. And that's what we want. We want those light bulb moments where you're not always going to have a shooting coach expert around to analyze every shot you take. And so you have to be able to tell what your own body is doing wrong. But before you can analyze that, you have to know what to look for. And so whether it's the camps and clinics, the custom breakdowns, the online course, ultimately we're trying to teach everyone how to feel about their shot and know what to look for. And we've gotten just great feedback from people so far, and just trying to spread the word even more.
Yes, and that's what we're trying to do in this coin conversation. Hey, so Kevin, as a business owner now, what have you learned as you've now started this new venture?
Yeah, this is talk about a learning curve. Because it's totally different than the coaching world. I'm using a lot of the knowledge there to then start up a business. Definitely for anyone starting a new business, I would say like you got to have patience. You just have to, you can't assume that your first ideas are going to be great ideas. You can't assume that everything is going to like skyrocket and work right out of the gate. Anyone that's tried to build a social media following knows how frustrating of a process that can be. I've had some videos that I've made that I thought were really great and then totally flopped. And then I posted a silly little video from I was at a youth tournament, and there I was watching a fifth grade boys game where his team was sitting in a sagging 2-3 zone and they weren't even playing real defense. And I posted like an 8-second video about it. And I haven't checked it in a couple days, but it's well over 200,000 views now. So it's like, you can't correlate the amount of effort you put into the results on social media. And so you have to just like keep showing up and just do one thing a day. Like I think that's really the thing, depending on how much time you're able to commit to a new business, whether you're doing it full time or part time or as a side hustle, like just at least find one thing to do per day, one thing to advance your business. If I don't do any other work today, at least I came on your podcast and, I helped market my business and hopefully get this word out to more people. So patience is a big one. And then I would also say, like, just diversifying what you're trying to offer as a small business owner. And again, whether you're selling a service or selling a product, um, I don't think you want all your eggs in one basket, especially if you have expertise that can come in many forms. And so we've tried to do that here at Dyad. And, that's how at first we started with just the online course. And then we literally had coaches asking, like, well, can you come do an in-person clinic? And I was like, that's a great idea. We should do that. And then that led into the custom shot breakdowns because some of the kids were like, well, what if I want individual attention? But we also don't want to be, geographically restricted to having to do like private training sessions, which can get really expensive. So yeah, I think if you have patience and you can kind of diversify your business, those are good starting points for anybody thinking about getting started.
Let's go back to when you and I used to work together at Comcast Sportsnet. So I mentioned that we coached together, but you were my manager when I worked on the digital side of things for Comcast Sportsnet, NBC Sports Northwest. Uh, I've been meaning to ask you this for a while now, but do you miss being part of sports broadcasting, sports journalism?
Yeah, let's see. I think the best way I can put this is I miss the people that I worked with, and I miss the team that we had, and I do miss the chaos. I think there's a chaos to sports journalism that maybe people that aren't in the industry don't know about. But, I remember being in the building when Dame hit that shot from damn near half court against Oklahoma City Thunder and the chaos that erupted in our work world until 3 in the morning that night. So I missed that a little bit. I think at the same time, I found pretty quickly that the sports journalism world didn't marry up real well to my coaching goals and to the goals that I had on the coaching side because as you know, working in sports journalism, it's nights, it's weekends, it's kind of 24/7. And coaching basketball is also a lot of nights and weekends, and that's when tournaments are and games and night practices. And so I kind of hit a fork in the road where it was like the coaching side was more important to me than the sports journalism side. So now I've kind of gone all in on the basketball and the basketball training and the academy and the whole thing.
With the Dyad Basketball Academy, Kevin, what do you really hope parents and coaches are going to take away from this? I mean, you've already really given us such a great overview of this academy, but what are some of your top goals of when someone does, in fact, get involved with the academy?
I think it's kind of twofold, and one comes down to price, and one comes down to sort of availability. I think right now in the basketball world, there's sort of this assumption that if you want to play in high school, you have to go play club ball, or you have to have a private trainer. I just see a lot of kids who, frankly, don't need to be playing club basketball, are paying lots and lots of money for the opportunity to go play on these club teams. And that's great. And that's fine. If your kid wants to play club basketball, I don't have anything against that. I just think that people need to know from an availability standpoint that you can be a great basketball player and not play club basketball. If you want to just train on your own and work out on your own, like it's going to be okay. And so that's the availability part of it is like there are other options out there outside of personal trainers and club basketball. Like there are other options out there to get better and to work on your game. And certainly with everything that's available on YouTube or these various training apps, like there's a way. And I think that kind of leads into the second point is about the pricing because anyone who has kids knows how expensive youth sports are these days. And it escalates even further when you start talking about the club scene whether it's club soccer, club volleyball, club basketball. It's one thing to play for your school program and your school team. Usually those fees are reasonable and not going to totally ruin your bank account. But club basketball can be really expensive. And we wanted to offer something to two different sets of people. One, the people who maybe just can't simply cannot afford that. Like they just can't afford the team fees and the travel and the parking and the admissions to all of these tournaments. There's a large portion of the population who just simply can't afford that. But maybe they want to get some really specific individualized shot coaching. Like, okay, we can do that a lot easier for 50 or $100 rather than the thousands and thousands of dollars that it takes to play club basketball. So that was important to us. And then it was also important for us to reach the portion of the population who just doesn't want to play club basketball, right? Like I said, there's nothing wrong with playing club basketball. If you want to play club ball, great. Like my daughters have friends that play club ball and they love it, and that's great for them. But there's also kids who just don't want to play club ball. They don't want to commit their weekend every weekend, all spring and all summer to traveling to Reno and then Vegas and then Seattle and then, Eastern Oregon. Like they don't want to do that. They don't want that lifestyle, whether that's the kid or the parents. And so for those people, we say, great, come take this course, come to a clinic, get a custom shot breakdown, take all the stuff we're giving you and then go train on your own. Go work out on your own because we'll teach you what to look for and how to make it better and how to improve as a basketball player at a price point that fits your budget and also at an availability and a time commitment that fits your lifestyle because not everyone wants to be living that club lifestyle. And so if you fall into the club that part of the Venn diagram, that's great. Go do that. But if you're not in that part of the Venn diagram, there are other options. And we're trying to at least there are options now. I don't know that there was a lot of options, especially in this area before we started this up, because there are dozens of club teams in this area. You have a lot of choices if that's the world you want to go into. And if you're not interested in that, your options are limited. And so we wanted to try and fill that niche a little bit.
That is so true about the availability. And I also think about families that have multiple kids that are playing sports. It's
Yep.
tough for maybe one kid to be on a club team. And yeah, it gets a little bit crazy. So
Yeah,
this
it
is
gets
great. Hey,
complicated.
Kevin, where can people go to find more information?
Yeah, I mean, pretty traditionally, website and Instagram. So website is dyadbasketball.com. Um, Dyad is Dyad. And then same on Instagram, we're at Dyad Basketball, and we post all sorts of free stuff on the Instagram account. So whether that's we've had a couple great clips that have gone up about playing defense, how to get better as a shooter, how to get better as a passer. So we give out a lot of free basketball stuff that's great for kids and parents alike on the Instagram page. So even if you're not interested in any of the products or camps or clinics, you should go give us a follow just to get smarter on basketball. And if you want a rundown of all the things that we offer, the website is the best place there, but it's also listed on the Instagram page. And yeah, reach out, DM, email, it's all there. We're very responsive and always looking for more opportunities to connect with parents and kids in the area.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this coin conversation. And people better head to Instagram and check out the Dyad Basketball Academy.
Perfect. Thanks very much.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin.